Now, right now we have Larry Daum. He's the owner-proprietor of Dragon's Lair in the Independence Mall, which is north of Wilmington, located on Concord Mall, on Concord Avenue. And right now, Larry has brought some very curious-looking things. And speaking about curiosities, Larry, what is all this about that you brought along?
Well, primarily what our store is about and what our little corporation is about is both promoting, playing, and selling adventure gaming, if you will. It comprises role-playing games, war games, and historical games of various and sundry kinds.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's take a look at some of these miniature items you brought along here. Right before us here, we have little miniature soldiers, right?
Right.
From what period would this be?
Okay, well, what we have here is a selection out of 3 periods. The group to my right is Ancients, and we have them in 2 scales. One is the 15mm tall figure, and the second scale is the 25mm figure. What we have here is 2 groups of Byzantine cavalry from the 6th century AD, and forward they're a compendium of troops ranging anywhere from Byzantines of the 10th century on to Carthaginians, so on and so forth. The group in the center represents the Renaissance period. On the left is a group of Panzerni, on the right a group of Dutch Lancers. The Panzerni are Polish medium cavalry. And then the troops to the rear are people from the period of the English Civil War in the 1640s, 1650s. In the center is an individual personality figure of King Arthur, which was painted in our store. It was produced by a fellow up in Claymont. And the group over here to our left are 15mm Napoleonics, which is one of our most popular periods in the store. We have quite a group of people that game historically with 15mm Napoleonics.
Now, are you the only shop around catering to enthusiasts of unconventional games?
Well, to be truthful, some of the items such as Dungeons and Dragons and a few of the board games are carried in the mass market stores. We're the only store that offers the direct person-to-person service, which we feel is necessary to keep people interested in the games and to teach them how to play them.
Now, what are some of these unconventional games that are booming in popularity right now?
Well, you've got Dungeons and Dragons, which is the...
This one right here?
Yeah, that's the basic set. That's the initial way to get into the game itself. That's probably the most popular game. And then we have things such as Fifth Frontier War, sitting over to your left, which is a science fiction type game. Traveler behind that, which is a science fiction game also, but one dedicated to role-playing very much in the manner of Dungeons and Dragons, where you take on the character of a player. And back to the rear is Kingmaker, which is one of our most popular games. That's a game based around the Wars of the Roses in England of the 14th century.
Now, isn't a game such as Dungeons and Dragons like this creating some raucous, perhaps they promote the occult or devil worship and the like? Is that what I've heard?
Well, we've had some responses to that effect, and of course there was an article in the News Journal several months ago about that. Our feeling basically is what they approach the game from is a standpoint of imagination. They realize very strongly that it's a game of their imagination, that it is not reality. And secondly, when they meet the evil devil or demon or something along those lines in one of the prepared dungeons or in one of the dungeons made up by some of the players, they generally and almost exclusively end up in a bad situation. They end up being hurt. Anything that is evil hurts them. I think that the dividing line between good and evil is much, much stronger in these games than it is in, well, Monopoly, for instance. In Monopoly, you're playing cutthroat competition. In these games, if something is evil, it does bad things. And it teaches them very clearly that there is a difference between good and evil.
Now, you also have rules that you teach. I understand you have sessions where people can learn these games and play out these games at your place?
Right. We run Dungeons and Dragons every Friday and Saturday night from 6:30 until 10. We also run some of these historical games and other things on an irregular basis throughout the month. Generally speaking, Saturday and Sunday afternoons we have games going of one kind or another. And also some weekday afternoons, a few weekday evenings a month, that kind of thing.
Now, who might you find at one of these gaming sessions?
Well, the age range of people that we have in the store goes anywhere from 8 to 55 in terms of active players. Dungeons and Dragons folks tend to run anywhere from 8 up to about 28, 30. And our historical gamers range all the way up to their mid-50s, late 50s. We have one fellow who's a collector as opposed to a gamer, and he must be in his 70s. It's a very popular hobby. It's been around for an awful long time, but it's just reached its height of popularity in the last few years through Dungeons & Dragons.
Now, Larry, you seem to be very enthusiastic about all this. Are you a game player of these strange games yourself?
Oh, yes. I've been gaming now for roughly 16 years, ever since a friend of mine got a game for Christmas back in the mid-'60s, one of the original board games called Africa Corps by Avalon Hill.
And what do you find you get out of gaming?
Primarily, it's an intellectual satisfaction. It's like playing very, very complicated chess, but not so complex that anybody from any walk of life can understand the basic system that you're working with.
Now, again, where are you located?
In the Independence Mall, which is right off of Concord Pike by Falk Road, in Suite 69.
Okay, well, viewers, I hope you get out there. As a matter of fact, Larry's been kind enough to provide us with a gift certificate to Dragon's Lair, and we'll be giving that away later on in the show. Thanks, Larry. And now we're going to go to some short messages, but stick around. We'll be back with more of Focus Delaware. Don't go away.